Random House Audio presents The Grace of Silence by Michele Norris. This is Michele Norris. For my parents, Belvin and Betty, you gave me wings. It is a unique art and special skill, this business of being a Negro in America. William H. Hastie, lawyer, judge, civil rights advocate, civilian aide to the Secretary of War. Introduction. I began this project in 2009 because I became convinced that an unprecedented, hidden, and robust conversation about race was taking place across the country in the wake of Barack Obama's historic presidential campaign and his ascension to office. Americans seemed to be spending more time talking about race, but even so, I had the feeling that something was always left unsaid. Filters would automatically engage, preventing us from saying things that might cause us embarrassment or get us into trouble, or even worse, reveal us for who we really are. We weren't so much talking about race as talking around it. In my work at National Public Radio, I tried to dig deep into race in America in a multi-part NPR series of no-holds-barred conversations with a diverse group of voters in York, Pennsylvania. Over the course of 3 visits, we spent more than 15 hours with 15 Americans, whites, blacks, Latinos, and South Asians. We were surprised by their enthusiasm for the project. We eased the conversation with good meals, amazing how carbohydrates can lubricate a conversation, and we asked simple and direct questions. What are the occasions, if any, when you become aware of your race? Do white Americans underestimate discrimination? Do black people make too much of it? How would the country be different if led by a black man? There was candor, discomfort, and a certain amount of conflict among those gathered in the room. They rolled their eyes and crossed their arms and conveyed their unease in myriad ways. They did so many of the things that people do before unease turns to exasperation, and the possibility of conversation vanishes. But they didn't back down, even when things got dicey. All stayed and listened, even as each revealed fears, biases, hopes, and insecurities, all those things so often left unsaid when people try to talk about race. In the end, we were confident we had pushed past a barrier to frankness and had probed the consequence of silence on matters of race. What happened in York is by no means unique. It's happening right now in beauty parlors and truck stops, in college dormitories and courthouses, in office parks, at construction sites, and at dinner tables where parents are often confronted by children with more tolerant views on race. The conversation is flowing through bodegas and along interstate highways and rural roads. It's filling computer screens and creeping into country clubs. Yet for the most part, it remains segregated. Blacks and other people of color often seem to talk about race more openly, while many whites appear to yearn for a post-racial world where discussions are unnecessary. People may be talking about race more, but they're not necessarily talking to one another. My intention was to eavesdrop on their conversations and write a book that might enrich our collective dialogue on the thorny subject. Well, the truth can set you free, but it can also be profoundly disconcerting. I realized that pretty quickly when I began listening carefully to conversations in my own family. I had hoped that other people would speak candidly about race for my book, but I soon came to understand that my reporting had to begin with me. The discussion about race within my own family was not completely honest. My racial identity has largely been forged by the sum of experiences in my lifetime, and my most formative memories flow through my parents' lives. From their struggles and tribulations, their triumphs and celebrations, their dignity found through a hard day's work, the devotion of our worship, the places we lived, and above all, the constant expectation captured by one word: rise. Rise and shine, rise to the occasion, rise above it all. No matter what, move forward, never backward, always onward and upward. And if you ever feel like you're at the end of your rope, tie a knot and hold on until you can start climbing again. For all of our lives, we were told, keep your eye on the prize, stay strong, keep committed, focus on the fight for justice and equality, set your sights on excellence and opportunity. Don't let up, don't look back, don't slow down. Ignore the slights and the slurs and the laws that try to keep you from achieving your goals. Always keep the prize in mind. See it, smell it, feel it. Our parents armed us with what they thought we needed: strength, courage, and a touch of indignation, but just a touch. I was shaped by the advice and admonitions that rained down on me. I've always known that. What I did not know until I began this project is that I was also shaped by the weight of my parents' silence. I originally wanted to write about how other people talked about race, but that presumption was swiftly disabused when I learned about secrets in my own family that had purposely been kept from me. Among those secrets was this. As a young man, my father had been shot by a white policeman. He never spoke about the incident after leaving Alabama and moving north. He never told even my mother. He took the story to his grave. But she, too, was hiding something. My mother never talked about the time her mother spent working as a traveling Aunt Jemima, swooping through small Midwestern towns in a hoop skirt and headscarf to perform pancake-making demonstrations for farm women. The memory had caused her shame, so she locked it away. These revelations suggest to me that in certain ways I've never had a full understanding of my parents or of the formation of my own racial identity. How many of us know the whole truth about our families? For most of my adult life, I thought I did, but my confidence has been shaken. One of the unforeseen consequences of the rise of Barack Obama has been a grudging willingness to shed painful memories. The rise of a black man to the nation's highest office has lowered the barrier for painful conversations among Americans of all colors, but especially those who live through the trials and tumult of forced segregation. Every household is different. In my childhood home, the window to that painful past was never widely opened. Instead, stories were meted out judiciously in morsels and tidbits. Occasionally there would be a tale of a hardscrabble life or some unguarded talk. A visiting relative, fueled by that third glass of pink champagne, would steer the conversation toward a place called melancholy, and then a bit yonder to the rough intersection where disappointment meets rage. But it would never last long. The story would always come to an abrupt end. My mother would shoot one of her "don't go there" looks, and the discussion would snap back to the here and now. Even so, something in that relative's face, a sudden gloss in the eyes, a catch in the throat, suggested a mind still wandering through some distant, aching memory. Our parents felt we needed to know only so much. No time for tears, no yearning for sympathy. You see, you can't keep your eye on the prize if your sight is clouded by tears. How can you soar if you're freighted down by the anger of your ancestors? Chapter 1. Daddy. My father was one of those people who are most comfortable at the fringes, away from the action center stage. He did not need or crave attention. Instead, he was driven by the need to reassure others that everything was going to be all right. Belvin Norris, Jr.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?